Hi, my name is Amy Marc-Charles and I'm the Independent Consultant and Superstar Director with Velata, and I am going to show you how to make one of my favorite meals called chicken provolone. This is a crock pot meal. It's pretty easy. First, I'm just going to start by chopping up some green onions, and I wanted to tell you how I came about this recipe. So, growing up, my dad used to make this recipe when company would come over, and I always remember like it being kind of like a special thing that we got to have. So I called my dad up and I was thinking, so I do freezer meal workshops, and I was trying to come up with some new recipes, and I called my dad and I was like, hey, will you remind me what you put in the chicken provolone? And he was telling me how he makes it, and and he said that everything is like sauteed in butter, and I was like, well, like if you're gonna make a crock pot meal, you can't, like that's a lot of work to saute everything and then freeze it. And I was like, let me see if we can just do this a different way. And let me tell you, I made this in the crock pot. I put a little bit of butter at the end with the cheese whenever I topped it with provolone cheese, but it definitely didn't use as much butter as he suggested, and it's fine. So shout out to my dad because I love this recipe, and I hope you guys all enjoy it too. So, I've already got some chicken breast in a bag. I'm making this as a freezer meal. So, I'm actually putting everything in a gallon freezer meal bag, and I'm going to zip it up, freeze it to have at a later time. But you could totally make this like day of, stick it in your crock pot and cook it. So, the recipe is in the description of this video, but I've already got my chicken in, 6 chicken breasts. You need a large can of olives. I've already gotten mine all sliced or chopped up, depending on how much time you want to spend. Sometimes it's just easier to chop it. And I've reserved the juice from the olives, and I'm putting that in as well because I like the flavor. If you don't like olives, then don't use olives. Use mushroom, or just maybe leave that out. But you'll want to make up for the amount of liquid that you don't use if you don't use the olive juice. So I would say that's like a half a cup maybe, or maybe 3/4 of a cup of liquid. So you're going to want to add some chicken stock or even some water. I think that would be okay. So you've got your chicken breast, your olives, you've got your green onion, and also green onion could be done, like if you're doing a freezer meal, this could technically be added the day of, for it to be a little bit more fresh and not so cooked, because you could add it like the last minute, the last like 30 minutes or so. But I just want to keep everything easy and have it all in the bag, all ready to go. Gotta look at my recipe. A tablespoon of olive oil, just kind of eyeing that. And then 2 tablespoons of coriander herb rub. This is a Velata product, and it's kind of got an Italian feel to it. It's really, really good. It says coriander herb, but there's a lot of different herbs in here. So I've had that. Some salt and pepper, a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. You can also go back and re-season this day of if you think it needs a little bit more. And that's it. That's all I'm adding right now. So I'm actually going to mix this up a little bit right now. And then I'm going to get all of the air out since this is a freezer meal. But again, like if you're putting the crock pot, you're done. You're going to cook it on low for 6 to 8 hours. And then 30 minutes before you actually go to serve your meal, you want to top it with your sliced provolone cheese. You can kind of, add that however you want. If you want to put it, if you have larger chicken breasts, you can try to put like 1 slice of cheese just directly on top of each piece of chicken that you've got in your crock pot. That way you can scoop it out really nicely and serve it up. It'll be really pretty. But anyway, 30 minutes before you add that, the cheese will get all melted. And then when you go to serve your meal, you can have this with pasta. We always had it with rice. I don't know if that's just an our family thing, but it's definitely lends itself to be an Italian meal. So if rice isn't your thing, pasta would be great. Some French bread would be yummy, and like a Caesar salad or some sort of your favorite salad would be awesome too. And that's it. So I hope you like this meal. See, I told you, super easy. I think, did I say this? If you don't like olives, you can also leave them out, or you can add some canned mushrooms. I have an attendee, somebody that comes to my workshops, and anytime, well, I've got 2 I've got 2 different recipes that call for olives, and both times she just brings a can of sliced mushrooms instead, and her family likes that better. So you kind of do what you want. You can alter my recipe if you'd like, but if you have any questions, please let me know. My website is also in the description as well as the recipe, and if you need help finding coriander herb, I can help you with that too. So good luck, and I hope you enjoy your chicken provolone.